Yeah.
It's like 200 something.
You guys are live.
That was Abigail's first day there today too, so she got to go this year.
With two?
Can't be. So, Gavin went last year, but she got to go.
Whole
this year,
summer?
so she was excited.
You're getting,
No, I think a month.
you're making way too much money then.
Will they let you go the kid go the whole summer?
I don't know what the.
You pay for every week?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, well.
I'm gonna say, if you wanna.
I was thinking about putting some money aside this year for Camp Beach Cliff for next year, because I think he's gonna be 5, he'll be old enough next year to go, so.
He took the tour this morning and it sounds pretty great.
It's fun.
Yeah, I was about ready to close down the office and just say, like, the staff are gonna be at Camp Beach Cliff all summer.
No, I've heard really good things about it, so. But $300 and something a week, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say,
It's not.
$325 or $350 a week?
It's more than that.
It's not.
I have workers that don't
Well,
make
no, I
that.
have two in it, so. I'm just thinking of what mine, yeah, it's.
She grumpy.
It's not cheap.
Hello.
We're always nervous.
How are Brandon and Kayla?
Bus, first day. Like, oh yeah, pick something, pick a snack, let's go. Hurry up, kids.
Yeah, Gavin's in, what do they call it, Thunder this year, so.
Yeah,
he can do
ridiculous.
Yeah,
You doing that?
He wasn't on the bus, right?
no, Trisha
I
picked
didn't
him
see
up
him.
today, so, yeah.
Doing the archery too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see that. They do
I
archery,
would go with
yoga.
arrows, so we can set it up, target it, every side of your shot.
She said they do one overnight too, when they get in that each group, or 2 overnight, yeah, 1 overnight, I think, for that one, yeah. So, they get to do, like a camp,
Wow.
go camp somewhere, the whole group.
It's a cool place.
It was amazing.
It's nice.
Right.
Our youngest just became a senior today in high school, so we're a little out of the Camp Beach Cliff thing
Oh.
right now.
Camp College going
Yeah,
on.
I know, right, one more year.
That's even more
Yeah, I know,
expensive.
that's worse than Camp Beach Cliff, right?
So the youngest or oldest?
It's our youngest, Riley, starts her senior year.
Really?
That really puts you over there.
Yeah, you totally. Yep. She's the last one. Thank the Lord.
When you start paying for college.
Yeah.
What's Andrew doing?
And she works for Tommy Wallace,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, Royal.
He does a little bit of everything, so.
Mhm.
Your house had the old house had a big power surge. Took out all kinds of stuff. The guy went to jump in the pool and he got shocked.
What?
Yeah. He was over there this weekend. Oh, yeah.
Some of the guys in
Turn the dishwasher on, it won't shut off. All kinds of weird stuff. Hot water stuff went out, took the furnace out, hot water won't work.
Was it that power outage the other night?
It must be. He said 2 nights ago. Screwed up everything. But he said, oh, power's not working. So all kinds of stuff was wrong in the house. He goes, I'm just going to go jump in the pool, go for a swim. It got even worse when he got in there.
Wow.
I got 5 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order, the Tremont Selectmen, 5 p.m., Monday, June 17th. We have Howdy Goodwin, Mike Mansalilli, Mackenzie Jewett, Jamie Thurlow, Kevin Buck, Chris Saunders, Katie Danduran, and members of the public. Moving on to number 3, election of officers.
I think Jamie ought to become chairman. He's willing.
I think that I'm willing to do it if, as long as everybody is on the same page. I don't, I guess as long as we all work together as a group, that's the important thing, and, that, I don't know, what do you think?
Early too.
I
It's up to you.
Yep, I just want everybody's opinion, that's all, so.
Well, got a few years under your belt, it's a good opportunity to let you try it out and
Yep.
see what it's all about, and like you said, work together and try to run this town.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I've been hearing all kinds,
Mhm.
all sides. I mean, I get along with everybody and stuff. And I know there was controversy or opinions that didn't really agree when you guys voted with only 4 members. And I guess in listening to 3 or 4 different sides and stuff, now that you've got a quorum, well, you had a quorum before. but now
Right.
that You've got all 5 members there.
Mhm.
Would you guys be better off to start at square one, right back to no co-chair, no chairman, and just start right at the beginning with all 5 of you there? And go from there, go with, it's like I say, I've heard all kinds of different stuff, and I just wonder, where you do have a full
I agree.
5 members, and you haven't had in the last 3 or 4
But we had 3 that voted for him and 1 that didn't at the time, so even the 3.
It still would have been a majority.
Right.
I mean, not that that's, I mean, I guess my thing is, I think whether we vote or not, I think the public voted us in. And voting for a chair and a vice chair, at least when I was on a planning board, I saw that everybody had a time where they were either chair or vice chair during my period. Everybody that was on the planning board in Southwest and the select board as well, they tried to move it around so that everybody got a chance to try it out. I think that's the best way. I mean, the public voted us because they thought that we were a good fit, and I think we should just go right around in a circle and everybody should try it. But that's just my thought on it.
This
That
is
would be
Southwest
cap.
Harvard. This is Southwest Harvard's doing it. Tremont's never done it that way, right?
Well, a lot of other towns have done it that way.
You're
I
talking
agree
about
with Peter.
Southwest only now, right?
I mean, I'm just, then it would be Cole or Howdy or something, maybe. I mean, you're the new guy, right?
I've never in this town. I've never been either. I've been a chair in another town. I've been a vice chair.
No, I just,
I agree, and this is what I said last meeting, and I asked if you would be willing to resign so we could start over with all 5 of us. But again, that's entirely up to you, because we can't start with a clean slate unless you're willing to give up your spot, resign, and then we start over.
Well, if you guys don't want me to do it, I guess I mean that's completely up to you. I would like to be vice chair. I'd like to try it, but either way, that's up to all of you as a board to make that decision. I can't just myself make that decision.
No, I think that we should, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. I think that everybody should have been here, that's just my 2 cents too, because, I wouldn't, I didn't believe in voting last week when Howdy wasn't here, because I just think that it's always, when I first got on here, that's what happened. I think the first meeting I was here, and, they waited until the next meeting, but it's everybody's 2 cents.
Actually, I agree. We probably should have.
So we have a motion.
But we gotta do the chair first, right? I mean, that's what we're voting on right now, so.
And I guess,
I'll make a motion to nominate Jamie Thurlow as chair. And if you guys wanna work on the vice chair, then that's a separate item, right? We're working on the chair. I made a motion.
Second.
It doesn't need to be seconded.
Michael seconded.
It doesn't need to be seconded. It's,
All right.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh.
nominations are
You're running
not
the show.
seconded. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll do it. I would just ask that I have a assistance from Kevin to, as I need it, to kind of guide me through it, because he's done a great job. Hopefully I can try to do as well. That's my only thing, I guess.
That makes
As long
sense.
as you're comfortable with it, then I
Yeah.
don't, doesn't matter to me either way. But I don't want you to get pushed into something that you're not,
Mhm.
I don't, it's no, if I was gonna vote for Kevin, sorry. Just, I mean, I think we had a good thing going, it worked well, it, you know.
Well, it did in a
and-
way, but, I mean, we didn't all communicate either, so I think this way with Jamie, I think would be more.
Some of us tried to communicate.
Yeah.
Didn't really seem to work.
I don't mind communicating with everybody. I just think we should regularly switch it. I mean, I'm pretty sure in some towns, it's just like running for president. You get so many terms and then you switch it up. I think that should be part of an ordinance. I think, if someone's even a selectman for 20 years, it should be switched regularly. We all should have that experience. We all should have to deal with that because we're all taking on the responsibility, and I think that's important
But if you have
for
a
us to
good
see it
thing
through everyone's
going,
eyes, because it's not an easy job. And I know it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy for Kevin. It's probably not easy for Jamie. There's nothing easy about it. And I think everybody should step in those shoes and see what it's all about.
Okay, I disagree with you on that.
Okay.
And you have the time and you have, I mean, Kevin gets run pretty ragged.
I know.
So, and I'm not trying to discourage you, because if you're all in and you're harder than it and you want to do it, then
No, I mean, I'll do it if it helps. I'll do it. We'll just say that.
You get a gold star tonight, Jamie. We're gonna get you a gold star.
I'll make the motion.
All those in favor?
Of what?
Motion to appoint Jamie as chairman of the select board.
I want to see your hand.
yeah, well, I'm waiting for your hand.
You guys are all comfortable with that?
I'm fine with you doing it, really.
I want to be sure that everybody, it's a whole board's decision, not just three of us or four or whatever.
My hand's going up as soon as yours.
Yeah,
says.
me too.
Okay.
I mean, if
Here.
It's like a 50-pound weight on your arm, Jamie.
Yeah, I don't have to move, do I?
Now, we'll do it next week. How's that?
All right,
you want it.
so,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
yeah,
Good
thanks
job.
a lot. Yeah. So what are we gonna do about the vice chair? That's the next thing?
It's in Mike's lap. I mean, Mike has to be the one to decide if he's willing to give up the seat and do a revote. If Mike doesn't want to, then this is where we are and we keep chugging.
I wouldn't mind staying, I guess.
There's nothing to vote on, is there?
Nope, no.
I didn't think so. We've all voiced our opinion, but that's. Oh, no agenda. Kevin, you're gonna have to help out.
Oh, fine.
All right. Approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for Monday, June 3rd, 2009.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the June 3rd, 2019 meeting.
Second?
There's been a motion moved and seconded to approve the minutes of Monday, June 3rd, 2019. All those in favor? All those opposed? Or-
I abstain, I wasn't here.
That's for discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please chime in,
Yeah.
please. I'm asking.
No, it takes a little getting used to.
approval of warrants. We have warrant number 130 for the amount of $9,801.98. Warrant 131 for $3,023.75. Warrant 132 for $97,148.63. Warrant 133 for $1,890. We have warrant 134 for $9,429.85. Warrant 135 for $9,453.15. And warrant 136 for $9,566.79.
I make a motion to approve warrants 130 through 136.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve warrants as listed. Any discussion? All those in favor? Financial reports. Chris?
Well, I'll make this short and sweet since there's not that much going on. The War Fund has now received the full $15,000 for the grant proceeds for the construction of floats. And the Harbor Fund took in about $4,000 in boat excise tax and mooring fees in May. So both of those revenues are very much helping the fund balance of those two funds. Any questions on revenues? Okay. Expenses, the only thing I wanted to highlight is that the solid waste expenses are actually below where we would expect them to be for the budget at this point of the year, being 92% of the way through the year. Norlands did perform the annual service on all systems last month, and we haven't received the bill yet, so that might push it up higher. But in the balance, it might come out to be just about where we budgeted, which would be great news. So, any questions on expenses? Right, and then on the fund balance side, I'll highlight that the War Fund now has a surplus of about $20,000. The Harbor Fund has a operating surplus of about $15,000. Both of those surpluses will go towards the wharf reconstruction next year. So we're in good shape at this point.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept the July 2018 through May 2019 financial report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the June 2018 through May 2019 financial reports. All those, any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, regular business, street light LED conversion. What have you got, Chris?
So you got a number of materials in front of you. You've got the original RFQ, which you approved a couple months ago. You have two proposals, or I should say responses to the request for qualification, one from LED lighting and one from Realterm Energy. And you also have questionnaires completed by some of the references. I've heard from 5 of the 6 references that I've contacted at this point. And you can read those responses for yourselves. Tonight, you don't have to have the full conversation as to which one you like more yet. We're not quite at that point. At this point, you just have to decide who you want to invite for an interview, and I'll contact them tomorrow and let them know that they're invited for interviews at your July 1st meeting.
I'd like to talk to Affinity. I was pretty impressed with the fact they manufacture them. They're a New Hampshire company. They're all veterans. They're put together. I mean, they're even trying to cut down on the waste. I was quite impressed with their offer, except the purpose of color and specifics. Has a bigger reading list.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I have no interest in this time at voting on either party that's submitted. I've had a couple of local electrical vendors approach me and say that the specifications were very hard to follow, and it pretty much made it so that they didn't have a chance to bid on it because the way it's written, they can't do it. And I don't think I think our direction is to help local businesses, and I would like to make this so that they could bid on it if it's possible. I think we should take a relook at it.
So they couldn't follow Chris's stuff that he put together?
the specifications were too hard to, for them to bid on. They said the way it was written, that they actually can't do this.
So these two outfits was able to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had a
Anyone
local electrical,
contact
I know
with
MCM Electric said that they've done streetlight conversions in other towns and they can't do this one because of the way this is written.
And no one is.
And they came to me directly.
I reached out to 4 local electrical companies at your direction. 2 of the 4 told me right off the bat that they didn't want to bid. 2 of the 4 said they might want to look at it. Those were Steve Stanley and NCM, and then both of them just told me that they weren't interested at some point in the bidding process.
And I think there's no point to
I mean,
go back on this. I think we should just move forward and make decisions.
I agree with that. You get 2 good bids. We seem to understand it. And locals have been approached and chose not to.
I
mean, this is what these companies do. I mean.
Yep.
They just go around and do these.
And we can't keep changing this because one company can't follow it or doesn't.
where did
like it.
these come from, Chris?
Well, I would just first say that the select board approved these before I sent it out. And I pulled this from a bid that the towns of South Portland, Falmouth, and 2 other towns, Biddeford and 1 other town in that area. They collectively went out and did an RFQ about 3 years ago. And they made all the materials available on their websites so that other towns could mimic what they did. And so I took it and then I changed everything to make it for Tremont. And that was my starting point.
And you think we need to go this far for Tremont, Maine, I guess? Is your belief?
I only got 2 bids, so I don't.
I mean, with the specifications.
Yeah, no, I think these are good specifications.
Isn't one from Maine? One of
New
the
Hampshire, just over the line. Dover, New Hampshire.
It just seems like, making them do a whole plan and stuff of replacing some streetlights. I mean, if we have the quantity of streetlights, they should be able to tell you. And that was the biggest thing with them. They said, we could bid on this, but not the way it's written. Not without exhausting a lot of resources and making it hard for them.
I think if Chris has communicated with them and they said they're not interested, then I would consider that they're not interested.
Yeah, and I would think if they had problems with some of the specs, they would have mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say that Affinity make their own?
Yep.
Make their own, so.
Mhm.
I mean, the locals are gonna have to go to
Yeah,
them to
they're-
buy them.
Yeah.
They're an old veteran company that makes their own products.
Right,
And,
so-
they're-
And for
I would
all I
love to
know,
talk to
Real
them.
Term Energy might buy from Affinity.
Right.
I don't know.
I think, seems like some of this stuff is GE, wasn't it? Maybe not.
Well, Real Term does their own internal bid process for each project.
Okay.
So they may have a preferred vendor, but I don't know.
I guess that's what, I think they'd sell GEs and some of the other solutions. I think maybe that's what I was thinking. No, I'd love to talk with Affinity. I think we should go ahead on that. I think a motion, we ask Affinity LED lighting to come speak to us. What was the meeting schedule? Was it the next meeting?
Yeah.
I believe so. At our next meeting.
Second.
The CEO of the company was also here when the bid opening, I understand too,
Correct.
which is another nice sign. They're interested.
Okay, there's been a motion seconded to request the town manager to invite Affinity to interview for the streetlight LED conversion project on our next meeting, which the date is the 21st.
First.
July.
Oh, it's July 1st, I'm sorry. Yep, July 1st. Okay. Any questions or? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, solid waste. Sign a new contract with EMR. Explain that to us, Chris.
Sure. So your current contract with EMR expires in 13 days. It was a contract that was originally signed back in 2009 and then automatically renewed in 2014. So it's been 10 years since this contract has been revisited. I did have the chance to read through the old versus the new today, just to compare notes to see what were the major changes. And there fortunately wasn't too much that was a big difference. Most of it was because of the new, the new fiberite facility. The other changes that I thought might be noteworthy, we do have a minimum gross annual tonnage that we're required to send there in order to, to comply with the contract. And it's actually lower in this agreement than it was in the previous agreement. So for this agreement, it says 820, and I think I have my notes somewhere what the it was 882 in the previous agreement. So and we sent 957 last year, so I'm not worried about hitting that minimum. There's, it no longer requires that Acadia, that EMR provide Acadia Disposal District with the annual solid waste management report. That's okay. It does go into a lot of depth on the definitions and options for recycling, but at this point, we're not doing our recycling through EMR, so that doesn't really apply to us. And I, just for my own amusement, really like their definition of stumps, which was not in a previous one. It's on page 5. If anyone wants to know what the definition of stumps is, it says stumps means stumps. Okay.
Yeah, I missed that one. It's pretty clear.
Yep.
This is a 10-year contract.
So this is a 5-year contract, but it can be renewed for an additional 5 years.
I was looking at the back page. Is Fiberite accepting trash?
Yes and no. I mean, some of our trash that's gone to Fiberite is they're testing things out,
Okay.
but they're not yet at the point where we're sending everything there all the time. July 1st is the target date for that, but they're in the performance testing phase, so whether it's July 1st will depend on whether they're fully, satisfied with how things are going. They'll let us know.
Okay. So soon then, hopefully.
But,
Hopefully soon then.
yeah.
I make a motion to sign the solid waste contract with EMR Incorporated.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign a solid waste contract with EMR Incorporated. Any discussion? All those in favor? The next thing is the planning board. Looks like we've had Wayne Patton has been absent for 4 meetings. I think probably, Chris, could you elaborate on the health, was there health reason? Yeah, okay. And they're just asking us to waive it, if you think that's the right thing.
I make a motion to waive attendance provision in the ordinance to establish the planning board in the case of Wayne Patton for his absences of May 21st, 2019, March 12th, 2019, February 26th, 2019, and February 12th, 2019.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to waive the attendance provision of the ordinance to establish the planning board in the case of Wayne Patton for his absences May 21st, 2019, March 12th, 2019, February 26th, 2019, and February 12th, 2019. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, next thing is the Hillrest Cemetery, and a sale of a lot.
I'm gonna make a motion to sell lot 250 in Hillrest Cemetery to Catherine L. Stetson Reed and Dana C. Reed, for $825.
Second.
So moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to sell lot 250 in Hillrest Cemetery to Dana C. Reed and Catherine L. Stetson Reed for the amount of $825. Any discussion? All those in favor? Town managers report.
All right, I'm gonna speak slowly so that signature folder can make it down this row
Okay.
before I'm done. All right, major emphasis of the last 2 weeks. I completed the full bank reconciliation, which was a very educational process. I'm working on the economic development plan. I'm now in the writing stage, so I hope to present that to you in the near future. I was out of the office on Friday, June 7th, and on Monday, June 10th. I reviewed the streetlight RFQs and I contacted all those references. And I've been working on that harbor ordinance amendment for limited purpose aquaculture, which we discussed several meetings ago. Some minor projects going on. There was a request to have ambulance coverage at the boat races, I think stemming from the emergency response plan. And I've been informed that there will be an ambulance on standby on the ferry terminal side of the harbor throughout the boat races. I'm setting up the heating fuel contract with no frills. I had several phone calls with MDOT staff regarding the state summer road work. I've been trying to get road grading done. All the rain has really messed up Tom Gott's schedule, so hopefully that'll happen soon. Reviewed the EMR contract. Contacted residents with the water treatment systems to get the completed contracts returned. Working on recruiting a new health officer, which now that there's a chair, Jamie, congratulations, you're the health officer. I hope you enjoy this new responsibility.
Thank you very, very much. So excited.
Yeah. I had my check-in with Howdy on Friday. I reminded the Dodge Point Road bidders that their deadline to get those bids back to me is June 26th. We opened the gym floor refurbishment bids, and I'll be preparing a bid summary for you to award that at your next meeting. Working with MDOT to get a speed study done, thank you, on Lighthouse Road per those residents' request last year to lower the speed limit down to 15 for the full length of the road. I submitted the GA monthly report to the state, and I did unfortunately learn today that the apparel collection bin that you authorized at your January 7th meeting, that one I've been hopeful would happen in the next few months, and I've now been told that it's on the 6 to 12 month timeline to be placed here. So they're just
From now?
6 to 12 months from now. Yeah, the problem is that they have their service pickups have to be on a reasonable route, and they're no closer to us than Bangor, and so they can't make a special trip just down to Tremont just to pick up one bin. And I do appreciate that they don't want to place a bin here if they know they can't pick it up on a regular basis.
Can I add to that? Because I just happened to talk to him the other day, the Apparel Impact. They want to establish a hub in Bangor where the stuff will go and then get sorted and distributed. Right now, their hub is in New Hampshire. So to pick our stuff up and take it to New Hampshire is just, they're waiting until they have a main hub to expand as far as we are. And they don't know exactly when that'll be, but they definitely want to do it, and that's what they're working on, expanding into Maine. It's just not on the timeline that's going to be right away.
I vaguely remember a conversation from that, but didn't we look into more local places, or did we not look into, because I know we'd said
I forget.
Goodwill, I think, distribute some of their clothes, not just in the area, but there was another company. There you go. Yep,
In Ellsworth.
that's what I
I
was
think
thinking
we
of.
have to take them. I think that was the biggest difference.
Yeah,
Oh.
you had to take
Yeah, we had
everything.
some had-
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
There's
couldn't
places
remember
you
what,
can
that's
take
right.
stuff,
Yeah,
but
They
don't
don't
come
yeah,
from
yeah,
you.
I got you.
The office staff has been receiving lots of tax payments now that the 30-day notices of intent to file lien have gone out. We've also just been very busy with people coming in and doing boat registrations and all that kind of stuff at that time of year. The assessors have also been in the office a lot more frequently than usual because they're finishing up their quarterlies and they're getting ready for the tax commitment, which should be happening in mid-July or so. And then Katie has been working on reaching out to all the new and reappointed committee members to have them come in and sign their oaths. Public Works projects, they finished the ditching along Flatiron Road and they're now up on Hodgdon. They fixed a mailbox that was somehow knocked down on Tremont Road across from Anns Point Road. They put in a town limit sign on Seal Cove Road. That was a request from the fire chief from last year. And now that the road's back open, they're able to get in there and put that sign in.
Town line.
A town line sign, yep. They fixed the road, the private road sign that says Town Line Road that's on Tremont Road going into Pretty Marsh. That had been knocked down, but it is now back up. They put the speed radar out on Kellytown Road. They are working on a truss repair in the salt sand shed, mowing cemeteries and the town office lawn, and then cutting brush on Kellytown Road. Our harbor master has been working with Fine Line to get the striping done at Seal Cove Landing, and it's now complete. So you can head down there and see what those lines look like. He's getting ready for the boat races, which are on Sunday, and just doing the routine activities for the season. So it's been very, very busy down there. He did replace hoses and plumbing at the dock for freshwater, and he has been cutting rebar at Seal Cove Landing as time permits. Some activities over the next few weeks. I'll hope to finish writing the economic development plan. We'll be reviewing the cemeteries per your request at the last meeting and creating a report for you. I'll be preparing the surplus property sale, and I'll be attending a Department of Economic and Community Development strategic planning session in Bangor next week.
Thank you, Chris.
Mhm.
Do you have any idea when you were thinking about getting that excavator down?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other
Yep.
day.
Jimmy and I talked about it today. We think he'll be ready for them in mid-July or so.
Okay.
To start it in mid-July. The reason why not right away is there's a good amount of brush clearing that he wants to make sure is done before we have the excavator, because obviously that's, we don't want to have it, we want to minimize the number of idle days that it's here. I'm not going to promise that it's going to be running 24/7 every day, but we don't want it just to sit.
Makes sense.
When do the bids on the Dodge Point trees?
June 26th.
Okay.
Yeah, so we might have I'm sort of imagining that Jimmy's optimistic that he can get a lot of Hodgdon Road done with the backhoe. So the excavator would really be used on Cape Road and Dodge Point. So probably started on Cape while whoever the bidder is who does the Dodge Point is taking out those trees, and then do it that way.
And also the culvert on Clark Point.
Yeah, I've sort of grouped it in my mind as two big projects, and then
Yep.
Rummel and Clark those are smaller projects. But yes,
That's when we got the quote on that.
yeah, the
Yeah.
$10,000 quote. Yeah.
All right, suggestions for next meeting.
Oh, we got a question.
Oh,
Yeah, I get it. The parking down to the Green Coast, are there gonna be any yellow, because there's two white lines that go down through there
Mm-hmm.
that shows pretty much one lane,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody's confused on the right-hand side.
If you're going down the hill.
I mean, on the left, you only get enough room to pull a vehicle straight down, a trailer or something.
Yeah.
The one on the right, it shows that steady white line.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knows whether they're parking parallel to it, vertical, or what
Yep.
is the,
So the plan, the striping plan I presented to the Board of Selectmen, and I think the Harbor Committee, several, 2 or 3 months ago. And the reason why we didn't put those lines there is that in researching it, you tend to lose, if you make lines, the more obvious you make the lines, the fewer parking spots you end up having. So people generally, if they park in the way that they would naturally park, you end up having more parking than if you demarcate out lines. And so we sort of hope that there's going to be a common sense down there where they park. And if at some point it becomes that it's not working, then we'll revisit it. But we're hoping that
I know,
a
I
spirit
went,
of common sense.
I went down through Sunday and evidently there wasn't any common sense.
Oh dear. Okay. Well.
There was a lot of,
All right.
I think there was a lot of struggling going on.
Okay. Well, we're monitoring it, and if it need be, we'll
That's right.
revisit it.
Yeah, I was there Sunday too. It didn't look good.
Okay. I appreciate you mentioning that. So, talk to Justin about it.
I was gonna think the same thing myself.
All right. So, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I was there Sunday too. It didn't look good. Okay. I appreciate you mentioning that. Talk to Justin about it. I was gonna think the same thing myself.
All right, so Suggestions for next meeting? Next meeting date?
I'll make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, July 1st, 2019 at 5 PM.
Second.
A motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, July 1st, 2019, 5 PM at the town office. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion to adjourn. All those in favor? We're not going to discuss that.
Good, you can second on that one, I don't think.
No.
Really?